Yo, 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 what is up, world? Thank you for joining us on another Friday night edition of Premium Takes. No intro tonight, so we're just gonna do it like this. You know me, I'm Zion Zenith. I'm joined by the boys Adam, Mac, and obviously we're gonna throw our furs up for our man Jeffy T. Rest in peace, Jeff. May our thoughts, you're always in our thoughts, and you're always with us. You know, you're always with us on these episodes. Adam and Mac, how's you guys' nights been? How's your guys' week been? I'm happy to talk to you guys again on another Friday night.
This week has absolutely sucked. Honestly, no, it's been a rough week though, man. I've had a very rough week, in particular the very last rough couple of days. But I am still here, and I am still gonna, try to deliver a banging ass show with my homies. Let's go.
Well, I am good. As you all may know, I met Mac on Sunday. It was good to meet him. So, for those of you
Yes, sir.
that didn't know, it was good to meet him in the flesh. I actually looked at one of the pictures he sent me. It was hilarious. So, good times had by all last Sunday.
Absolutely. I was just about to get into that. How was you guys Big Blue kickoff? How was the parking lot event? How was the tailgate? How was the food? How was everything? I know from the videos it kind of rained, but hopefully the only thing that matters is family. You know what I'm saying? It rained. It rained. All right. Sorry. Well, it looked like it was raining. It looked like the weather wasn't that good. But quote on Fast and the Furious, it doesn't count as long as you have family, friends. You know what I'm saying? Meeting everybody in the flesh. How was that? How was that for you guys? Before we get into our main topic,
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun meeting everybody and getting to fraternize with the guys in person that you've met for so long and have grinded with on all these different streams. So it was just good to meet everyone.
I love that. I love that.
No doubt, indeed, no doubt. I feel the same way. It was awesome. It was a dope experience, man. Just being out in that parking lot, in that life, hanging out. Like you said, the guys we've been all working with. It's finally get an opportunity to everybody can shake each other's hands, just talk in the flesh for a little bit. The weather sucked, kind of put a little damp in the day a little bit, but we all had a great time no matter what, man. Like we said, just can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Big Blue Crew had a good time. And what's up, Raphael? Thank you so much for being with us tonight. But without further ado, guys, we're gonna break it down. You guys know how we doing on Premium Takes. Big on basketball, big on NFL, big on the World Series. We're probably gonna get a story with Thursday night football. Probably break down that game for you guys. So when we return, we will be talking about Thursday night football. Let's get it, guys. Alrighty. Oh, wrong graphic there, by the way. First time doing this. So, guys, let's recap Thursday night football and Will Levis's debut. The Steelers did win that game, but I have to be honest with you guys. I didn't really watch that much of this game. So I'm gonna turn it to Adam and then pass it over to Mac. What did you think about Will Levis's debut? Or what did you think about the Steelers in that performance?
Well, it's not his debut. It was week 2, his second start.
That's right.
I thought it was a good start. He was admirable. Looked poised in the pocket. Looked like he was worthy of being drafted where he was drafted. He fits all the measurables, throws the ball downfield. I really think he's going to be a solid contributor for this team going forward. Again, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. So when he does struggle, and he will at times. I mean, in this game, he didn't light it up like he did the previous week, but he was competent out there. They had a chance to win the game. Please don't, say that he's a bust. Let this guy grow. It's like when you add water to a plant. You'll know after you've watered it for a few weeks, few months, you'll know what you got. But let it at least water it, let it grow, let's see what we got before we start saying, "Oh, this guy's a bust" and all that. Because I gotta talk about one quarterback who, at some point, but right now we're talking about Thursday night. I thought Will Levis looked good. I think going forward he'll have some growing pains, but I think the Titans are going to roll with him the rest of the way, even if Tannehill comes back. I think I think this is the transition. If you want to look at a team to model what you want to do, let's say you want to draft a quarterback, Giants, this might be a team you want to look at where you draft your quarterback and have your bridge guy like a Tannehill kind of come in, and if the season's not going your way, give a chance to start. Unfortunately, Tannehill's injured. That's how he got his job. But I think, you got to tell Tannehill, sorry, we don't normally lose the job due to injury, but we got to ride this kid and see what we got, As for the other side, Kenny Pickett, I was having a conversation with somebody today about Kenny Pickett, and it's like, do we think we need to just wait for him a little bit? I'm giving him to next year to really say, okay, if you're a bust or not, right? His first year, I know a lot of people are going to write him off and say he stinks and all this stuff. I'm going to give him, I personally am going to give him to year 3. If after year 3, and I'm not talking about middle of the year 3, or I'm talking about after 17 games next year, if he's still where he's at, I think it'll be time to move on for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he does what he needs to do sometimes. Yes, he misses throws. But he does also make some big time throws, and again, he won this game for that team and put them in position. And now they're above. I think they're 2 games above 500, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're 5-3 at the moment, so that's pretty good start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's unfortunate for the Titans. I think they're out of the race now. I do believe. I don't think they're going to be able to. I shouldn't say they're out of the race. They're probably a game behind, but they're going to have to do some catching up. And with Will Levis at quarterback, pretty much think that, sometimes the mistakes are going to overcome them. But it was an entertaining game nonetheless. Thursday night games have been entertaining this season, but I'm going to finish up and let Mac have the floor.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see very much of this game either, dealing with some things that I was dealing with last night. But we'll just touch on Will Levis. I like it. Will Levis looks like he's clearly the future, I think. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but when you see it, you can see it. This kid playing, he has confidence. He has good confidence out there. I mean, he had a tremendous game a week ago in his debut, and then this week he was still admirable. I mean, he's young. He's a young player. Things are going to happen. But Will Levis looks like he's definitely the guy that the Titans have been looking for, man, to be the future of that franchise for years to come, man. He could be their next big time franchise quarterback. Hell, since he was there, to be honest, never really had one since Stephen there. I mean, Tannehill's been decent for him, but let's face it, he's still just Ryan Tannehill at the end of the day. He'll never have be looked at anything more than just Ryan Tannehill. So he's never going to be looked at as that real true guy. So just want to say congratulations, Will Levis. I think it's been a minute, took a while to get him going, to get him out there. I mean, technically, I guess was number 3 on their depth chart. I mean, with Tannehill initially, they went with Malik Willis first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, guys.
Let me ask you a question. What's the name of this show?
What is the name of the show?
Yes.
Premium Takes.
I got one for you right here.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Right? The AFC South is going to turn it around with all the quarterbacks they have now in the AFC South with CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, and now Will Levis. Look for that division to be one of the prominent ones going forward in the NFL in the next few years.
I love that. That's definitely a premium take. That being said, anything else you guys want to touch on Thursday night before we move on to our next subject? What is the subject? Topic. No takers? All right, let's get it. Moving on. For me personally, this is going to be most likely a Mac and Adam segment because I don't really follow baseball that much. But we do have the Texas Rangers winning the World Series. So let's get into that. Alrighty, so we got the Texas Rangers winning the World Series. Let's start with Mac. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it was actually dope. I love seeing teams get their first one, man, and the Texas Rangers knocking down that door for the first time. So big shout out. And Game 5 took only 5 games to knock off the Arizona Diamondbacks here. Just took full control of this series. Great pitching, had them bats going, man, and just congratulate Texas Rangers, man. I know a friend of mine has been very happy the last couple of days, celebrating still a little bit with the Texas Rangers getting the World Series W, man. So just congratulations, well deserved, definitely earned it, man. Texas Rangers. And shout out to my guy Max Scherzer, man. He started off the season as part of a horrible New York Mets team, and they traded you to a champion, bro. So congratulations, Max Scherzer, man.
Well, congratulations, Texas Rangers. It's interesting to see another Texas team winning another championship in baseball. It's between Houston and Texas now. So here Texas got their shot. I was hoping the Diamondbacks would pull it together, but of course they did not. This is their first World Series appearance since 2001, I do believe. And that's when they beat the Yankees, and Curt Schilling and Rob Johnson were on that team. So I was hoping the ghosts of Arizona past would come in and kind of, bless them with some luck. Obviously, it didn't happen. The Rangers are now the team to beat in baseball, and it's good to see a new champion being crowned. Or like if Arizona got crowned a champion that hasn't been crowned recently, you have to get your first one. Unfortunately, it happened against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That will be the trivia question from now on going forward. Who were the Texas Rangers, if they ever win anymore, or who was the Texas Rangers' lone World Series win against? Ding, 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 the Arizona Diamondbacks. So congratulations. Enjoy it. It's nothing like winning a championship. And it's not like winning a championship in baseball. Baseball is a different sport than most. It's not as – the kiddos don't like it as much because it's not as how should I put this? Not as frenetic as, maybe basketball and hockey. And it's not as overhyped like football with fantasy football and all the other stuff that comes with it. So when you see baseball, I think when we were younger, it was probably the prominent sport. Right now, the king of the sports castle or kingdom is NFL. And then it kind of trickles down everywhere. But obviously the World Series is America's pastime. So it was good to see Texas win.
Absolutely love that. And I don't really watch baseball, but I've seen a little bit of the playoffs, a little bit of the World Series, and I'm just to echo what they said. Absolutely. I'm not a big fan of baseball, but love to see anybody get a championship. But yeah, that being said, anything else you guys want to touch on the game before we move on to our next subject? Keep on saying subject.
Congratulations once again to the Texas Rangers, man.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And what's up, Wills? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. What's up, Raphael? I know you've been holding this down.
Great seeing you on Sunday, man. Took some great photos out there. His wife did a great job taking photos and taking pictures. So, Wales, big ups to you, man. Good seeing you.
What up, Wales?
Absolutely. Let's get it. So now we're gonna move on to our next segment, and it's probably gonna be NBA talk. So when we get back, I have a couple of questions I do want to get out of the way for you guys. Just a handful, probably only two, and then we can just open up this floor, Adam. If you do want to talk NBA for a little bit, touch on your team, touch on any other team that you've been watching, if you have been watching. And then Mac, I know you're not a big fan of NBA, but your words are always welcome and your takes are always welcome if you want to touch on the NBA as well. So when we come back, we'll be talking about NBA, guys. Let's get it. All right, guys. So the first question I do want to ask you guys, I know everybody in the world is talking about James Harden. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to that in a minute too. But we're going to start about Victor's wild story in the NBA. Now, this kid is a rookie. He just put up 38 points the other night. He's catching every rebound that bounces his way. He's blocking his shots. He's out there guarding people like Kevin Durant. Obviously, he has to learn the ropes. It's not gonna come easy. He's probably the only a handful of coaches could probably coach this kid to his absolutely fullest, and he's one of the greatest. So that being said, I think he's in good hands. My question to you guys is: are you guys shocked by this, or do you guys see a dominance? Because I do want to give you guys this fact. If you look at the world, if you look at all the superstars coming out and stuff like that, I believe there's like 130 players now that's playing in the NBA that's international. And, when we get into the world of basketball, like football, American football is American sport, you know what I'm saying? And that being said, but when you get into the world of basketball, we're seeing all these kids come from overseas and it immediately start to, kind of put their foot down and become household names, such as the Giannis's of the world, such as the Lucas of the world, such as the Jokic's of the world, and so on and so forth. So I guess my question to you guys is: are you guys shocked to see another one, or are you guys not kind of not getting too super excited because he's still young, and in the history of the NBA, we have seen taller players get hurt. So are you guys kind of like being more mature fans, or are you guys more like me, like super excited to see this guy like do what everybody thought he was gonna do? Whoever wants to take it first, go right ahead and take it.
I mean, he's definitely impressive talent right now. I think he's definitely on the cusp of being like something super great in this league. I personally think he needs to bulk up a little bit. I think he's still a little kind of small in that regard. Obviously, I think he needs to put a little bit more bulk on him, but to like maybe sustain a little bit some of the bigger guys in this league. But at the end of the day, right now he's averaging 20 and 8, and you can't really ask for much more from a rookie. I mean, two's been on two win. She's led the team last night against the Phoenix Suns, and he's been two wins against the Phoenix Suns already this season. So hats off to the Spurs for that. His team, but definitely this kid is definitely on his way, man. It's being something really, really special in this league. I think we're going to see. I think honestly, before it's all said and done, we're going to see an even upgraded version of the Greek Freak, and that's saying a whole lot, to be honest. And I think that's what we're going to get with this kid coming soon, man.
Well, just a little nugget here. First off, I'm excited to see that he's doing well. Victor has scored 100 points. He's the first player with 100 points and 10 block shots in their first 5 career games since Shaquille O'Neal in 1992. And the difference between him and Shaquille O'Neal is that he's a scorer. Shaquille was more of an inside presence. This guy has an inside game, outside game. He can hit the three. He reminds me of Tim Duncan with a 3-point shot. And everyone knows how good Tim Duncan was. If you can think about Tim Duncan, basically what I'm saying is he's fundamentally sound. You have a highlight of him basically catching an alley-oop and then with his long wingspan throwing it to somebody crashing down the lane for the layup. So those type of things are helping. You saw do an alley-oop around the rim. He's finishing around the hoop. I understand that, Mac, you're right. He's going to have to lift. But in the words of Kevin Durant, am I here to play basketball or I'm here to, throw guys around? You know what I'm saying? You don't really need to bench press in basketball, especially when they come from Europe. The reason why he's so big, and I think he'll do well from Europe, the last European that I remember, well, there's a couple of them. Paul Gasol goes to mind, but the last guy that did well that was big from Europe was Dirk Nowitzki. And I think you're going to see a guy like him, Victor, kind of flourish in that end. He can do everything. Now, guys who are bigger, maybe like Joel Embiid's of the world, and the guys who are a little bit more heavy set, maybe I forget who the Pelican kid is, Zion, what's his name?
Zion Williams?
Yeah. Guys like that might give them trouble just because they're a little bigger. But with your wingspan like that and your ability to shoot, you have the advantage on the floor because now those big guys have to defend you. And if the big guys are coming out to defend you, for example, like he reminds me of also of Kevin Durant as well because of how long he is. And what that means is he can get a shot up over you without any trouble. So I think he's going to be a pest to deal with. The fact that he comes from Europe allows me to believe he's going to have some handle to his game and be able to handle the ball because that's what they're taught at a young age over at Europe. In Europe, they're taught the fundamentals. In America, if you're the biggest guy, you don't need fundamentals, just body your way to the rim, right? That's the difference between big men. Everyone who's played basketball in a young, bitty league and you've been the tallest person on your team, you don't really do fundamentals. They just give you the ball and you're the tallest one. In Europe, it's different. It doesn't matter if you're a guard, center, you're getting taught the same way. So that's why he has the range that he has. And that's why I think he's going to do well in this league. And he's with possibly one of the best coaches of all time, as well as one of the best organizations of all time. If anyone can really get their big men to play well, it's this one. Greg Popovich has had the Admiral, Tim Duncan, He's had a few big guys that he can coach up, and this is going to be another one of those guys that's probably going to go down in Spurs lore when he's holding up a championship in the next few years.
Absolutely love that, and what I took out of all of that is like I agree with all of it. I agree with that. I do see where Mac was saying not so much of his physical size, but when Giannis came in the league, he was so scrawny. You know what I'm saying? In the point of he didn't really put on his adult weight yet. So I absolutely love to see him bulk up. And what you said, Adam, absolutely love it as well. So that being said, it's gonna move on to our next topic. I'm gonna have Adam take this one first. What's your thoughts on James Harden being traded to the Clippers?
James Harden traded to the Clippers, great. Another team that he's going to sabotage.
Do you like the picture I put of him?
Yeah, that's what he's going to look like. Because the thing about James Harden, and this is what really gets me, and I'm sure if Jeff was here, he'd be flipping out right now on this guy because of how terrible he is sometimes. He's not terrible during the regular season. You're going to get regular season James Harden, which is good. It's like a tease. He's like one of those teaser players. Like, oh man, he's like what Daniel Jones should be. You know, a guy that is good but doesn't win you championships, but at least he's good, right? You know, Daniel teases you because of his traits and his characteristics. Ooh, but on the field he doesn't do anything. Same with James Harden when it comes to the playoffs. He looks good, get you there, shooting the lights out. He's going to have one of those games where he drops 50. They're going to interview him. How are you doing tonight, James? Oh, I shot the lights at the gym, blah, 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 blah. Come playoff time, he's going to need to be clutch. Thankfully, they have Kawhi Leonard on that team. Thankfully, they have Paul George on that team, okay? Because if he doesn't have to be the main guy. Now, again, the problem I have with James Harden is his inconsistency to show up in big moments. So, like I said, luckily the Clippers have those two other guys I mentioned. I know Paul George might be coming back from injury. Kawhi Leonard, I saw the other night, man, does he look old? But if they are playing together, I think Kawhi can pull the team together and carry it. But if he is, let's say Kawhi and PG-13 are knocked out for a little bit, right? And you need him to lead you. He's not the guy I want in the playoffs. Regular season, it's going to be fun to watch the Clippers. You're going to see the Beard score points. You know, you're going to see him all over. And I think it'll work out with what it'll really will do in the long run is kind of help out Kawhi Leonard because he needs to be open. And if you bring another shooter to help stretch the floor, it allows you to do more maneuverability. And then you have the defensive side of it. Things is now you can keep up with the Warriors and guys like that because you got three legit 20-point scorers on the floor. So who could go off at any time? If they all give you 25, that's 75 points. So it's going to be fun. The problem is, like James Harden has done throughout his career, he comes up short when it matters most.
Brooklyn,
Absolutely love it. Go right ahead, Mac.
Houston, Brooklyn, Philly, now LA. So next year, what's it going to be, man? You going to send them to Chicago, go run another big city team? I mean, what is going on with this dude, man? I'm so annoyed with James Harden, man. I'm over it. I'm over James Harden. This is part of why I cannot stand the NBA. It's because of guys like this. It's because of guys like this, millionaire crybabies. Can't stand it. It drives me crazy. Put your name on the contract, you go work. You're getting paid a lot of money. Play basketball. Why do you have a problem? Find a problem every season with every team that he's on. A player with his talent should not be bouncing around team to team each year. It's obnoxious.
It's becoming a him problem.
And exactly. When does people point and realize that, James, this can't be everywhere you go. That's the problem. It has to be you. Everywhere you go can't just be something wrong. Like you mentioned that he's playing with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George now. Well, he was just playing with Joel Embiid.
But I think the guy's a little different.
I mean, I get what you're saying from that, but I'm just saying that you're still playing with other guys where you don't have to have that extra pressure on, where you can just go out there and just be able to go out there and play. You didn't have the expectations that you had in Houston when you went to the Sixers. Nobody had those expectations, you know what I mean, for you to go in there and be the top superstar guy. I mean, there's other stars there with you already, and then same in Brooklyn, you weren't there alone. You had other guys. There was definitely a support system that should have been anyway. That team fell completely apart. I mean, it's just
If this happens, if he falls apart, I think this could be it for him. I don't know what team you could keep going. I mean, is he going to be one of those players we see on one of those booty ass teams like the Bobcats, where he's just there to draw as an attraction? You know what I mean? Like what? I don't know. I hate the guy. I don't hate the guy. I just like if my life depended on it, and you're like, oh, you have James Harden or this guy, I'm going to take this guy. Not James Harden. Like, big play. I'd rather have this guy fail, the random dude, over James Harden, because I guarantee you he's going to stall out in the playoffs. Because in Houston, like you said, with D'Antoni, they were putting up prolific numbers. They were like a pretty good team. They were running up and down the floor. They were, scoring at will. And then come to playoff time, and they did ISO ball, and they slowed it down and got physical. And he melted. He melted with the Nets. I think, Mac, I don't believe he has the mental chops to take on being the lead actor in a film. Okay, some people, you give the role to Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington. When I say those three names, that's power, right? This guy reminds me of like Steve Urkel. You're not like, he's not a big actor, a small time 2-bit actor. You think he's kind of famous, but he's not fully famous. But when he comes on, you recognize him. Like, hey, I know that guy. I seen him in What Did I See Him Again, right? That's James Harden. He's that actor that you've seen in a lot of movies. He's like Samuel Jackson, except not as cool, right? He's in every movie. You're like, oh, I've seen him here. I've seen him there. Oh, he was over there. I remember he was over there. People forget that he played with the Thunder. You know what I mean? He had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. This guy has had so many teams,
I remember that.
Like, he's had so many teams in his life, and that, I think, when he played with Harden, I think this is where James Harden's best role is, off the bench. Off the bench, he is a great player, because when he comes, you know what he reminds me of? You remember Jamal Crawford? Like, Jamal Crawford, if you guys don't know who he is, prolific scorer. Guy was a prolific scorer. He was such a tease, it's not even funny. He would come in and drop 38 one night, and the next night have 2 points. That is James Harden to a T. Okay? The difference between him and Crawford wasn't there to be the guy. He wasn't paid the millions of dollars to do what he does because he was so inconsistent. James Harden is that. If Jamal Crawford, you go back, like I said, you go back and watch his highlights, you're like, man, this guy could be everything. He's got the height, the speed, all this, right? Then he comes up short. That's what James Harden, in the playoffs, he'll drop a few games, but then come game 7, when you use him the most, it's like, okay, like, where are you? It's almost like Brandon Tatum right now, right? I love Brandon Tatum for the Boston Celtics, but sometimes in big games, he doesn't have the big moments. His counterpart, Jamal Brown, on his other side, kind of plays bigger and bigger moments. He just acquired a personality, right? James Harden going to LA, this is it, buddy. This is it. If you can't work with Paul George, who's probably one of the nicest guys you ever meet, and Kawhi Leonard, who's probably definitely who definitely is a great defender. If you can't play with this guy, I don't know what to tell you, man. And what I mean, no Mets, no Jets, is Crawford was more talented, yes, as a basketball player and a shooter, but he was one of the most inconsistent players of all. And what I mean is, Jamal Crawford would tease you the same way James Harden would. You're like, man, let me go sign this guy to a big deal. He's going to be the real deal. He turns out to be nothing. And then he goes to team, and before you know it, you're on Wikipedia, and he's got 15 teams under his belt in 15 seasons.
Well, look, James Harden. I don't know, man. I'm just over the saga, man. It's just every year something new with this fucking guy. No matter what team, it doesn't matter what team he goes to. It's just whatever team he goes to, there's always a problem. It's always something. Oh, I need to be traded. I need to be this. I need to be that. Like, come on, man.
But what I don't get is why people keep trading for him.
Like, I don't understand. I just can't understand it anymore with James Harden stuff. And James Harden, can you play some damn defense? For one team.
No, Mac. That's too much to ask. That's too much to ask. Now you're asking $1 million athlete to play both ends of the floor. What are you talking about? This is not the 1990s, Mac. This is the year 2023. You play one side of the floor, and that's it. It's offense or bust.
I'll tell you what this probably is for real, honestly. It's definitely not going to be his last rodeo. I mean, he's too talented, let's face it. But it could be his last max deal. This could be his last max deal. I don't see people throwing that top dollar at him anymore.
I'm telling you, he's going to be one of those guys that he's 34 right now, so he's pretty old, right? So I would give him another year of good basketball, and then I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be on a bench somewhere that's going to like coattail his way to a championship because, you know, for example, the Spurs, right? Let's say in a few years he goes to the Spurs and comes off the bench because Popovich will do that. He'll get an old veteran to come in, put him on the end of the bench and say, listen, we may need you here, but if not, just sit on the bench and keep it warm, right? And then all of a sudden you'll see James Harden pull up his old pants and, you know, tuck in his shirt, come in the game and drop 15 out of nowhere and go back to the bench, and they're going to win a championship, and you're going to go to his Wikipedia page 15 teams later and an NBA championship. That's what you're going to see with this guy. He's 34 years old. You don't got much time left, man. This is it. I mean, you're not LeBron James in terms of physical specimen. You're not Kevin Durant in terms of your ability to shoot. Those two guys can play until they're 40 because of their physical attributes. You won't. You're one jelly donut away from being out of the league. So
absolutely love it. Absolutely love the discussion. Alrighty, guys. I think that does us with the basketball talk. Unless you guys want to give any other updates on the NBA.
Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are not doing very well. They are. They're winning. They're winning with 4 minutes to go. Last time I checked the score, but now they're winning 99-95. They're a mid-team. They're not going to go any far. They're going to beat teams like Chicago and things like that. I'm glad the young guys are coming through. Mikal Bridges, I'm sure, again, Jeff would be very happy. He liked Mikal Bridges. Also, Dorian Finney-Smith is coming through. Jeff would have loved that as well. And Cam Thomas is having a decent game as well. So if Jeff were here, he'd be telling you a lot of the young guys are stepping up and playing, and hopefully they'll get a lot of baptism by fire with this team as they come together. Remember, they made some trades last year. They came in at the end of the year, so they're not quite playing. This will be a full season together. So hopefully, barring any setbacks with injuries, because this is sports, guys get nicked up, especially in the NBA. You stub a toe, you're out for 15 days. So let's hope that they can keep it together. And come April, who knows? Maybe you're in the playoffs. Maybe you're hunting for the wild card or whatever the new play-in tournament is, whatever it is. These ad revenue teams trying to do with this extra playoff game. Let's get some more ching. Add some more mayonnaise to the thing.
You guys definitely have a lot of young studs doing their thing, and I definitely use them on DraftKings, and they pay off. So thank you on them. Matt,
can we not trade them, please? Though, can we not trade them? Because that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be all happy as a net fan, kumbaya and rainbows, and then they'll be like, we're dumping salary. Next thing you know, we're back to square one. Guys, we have no idea playing. They're on the starting for the Nets.
Absolutely no Mets. RIP Jeffy. He would be absolutely happy as hell. Mac, any final thoughts about the NBA? Alrighty. We got two final subjects before we get into the main event, and you guys know what the main event is. The main event is when we pick our teams. Adam goes through the rankings. He lets us know who got the week, and then from there we go into the rankings. But before we get into the main event, we got two more topics to get to. Not really topics, we can drag it on. But that being said, it's gonna be plain. It's gonna be simple. We're gonna talk. All right, guys. So the National NCAA has released the football playoff ranking, guys. So we're gonna take this time to look at it, but also too, we are going to talk about this. Take this time to talk about anything you guys want to talk about with the NCAAs. So make sure you guys follow us at Mac the Giants fan, at Adam Costas, at Zion Zenith. You clearly see it above. That being said, guys, we are going to get into the rankings. We got this is the official rankings too. fam. This is not like the AP rankings, the
Woo!
Associated Press rankings. This is the
Oh, you say Florida
official
State?
rankings. Absolutely. So I'm gonna let Adam actually break it down because he sees Florida State. He sees pretty excited. So Adam, can you walk us through these rankings, man? Let's get it.
Ohio State is obviously number one for a good reason. Georgia, with their quarterback situation, they're number two. Michigan, I'm very interested in. There's a guy that I like. I know New York Giant fans aren't going to hear this, but J.J. McCarthy has been playing big. He's got a big game this week against Penn State. Let's see if he can actually deliver. I'm not worried about the win or loss here for him. I'm worried about him looking competent. Right now, a guy that I like is playing on Florida State to find out they're fourth in the nation, and that is Jordan Travis. He is having a season right now. If he's a sleeper that I always look at with in terms of sleeper quarterbacks, a guy who reminds me kind of a Jalen Hurst type. I don't go down the road with the Jalen Hurst type. You know, it's not the same thing. It's like the knockoff Listerine. It ain't quite the same, right? So he's that guy. He's having a good year for that team. 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's a guy that I have been following, so it's good to see that he's number 4. Giants. I'm telling you, man, there are so many quarterbacks coming out in this draft. It's pick your flavor. Then you go to Washington with my boy Michael Penix Jr. He is having a breakout year. If you like Michael Penix, if you like pocket pass quarterbacks, Michael Penix Jr. is your guy. I do think that they're going to make some noise in the playoffs because of how good he is and what he's done so far. It could easily be any one of these teams for the top team, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it's going to be Ohio State and Michigan for the national title.
I like that.
It would also be another thing that
they do have to play each other though at the final week, so one of them might not make it.
We'll find out. We'll find out. You never know. Because if somebody loses, they might get in. Who knows? But that'll be a big game to watch. If not, Florida State is my sleeper as well. The next team, Bo Nix and company. Look at this. Quarterback. How many have we gone through? We're on number 6 right now. We have Bo Nix playing on Ohio State. He is playing at a phenomenal level. He's come out of Auburn and really took last year. He came on strong. This year he's taken on by a storm. Look out for him. I think Oregon can make some noise when they get there. They're a dark horse as well. Quarterback play is key in this stretch. You've got the Texan Longhorns. They got Quinn Ewers. He's another guy in the top 50 that you might be looking at. And a lot of other big teams over there as well. Alabama, number 8. This is an odd spot to see them because normally they're usually in the top 4, top 3, top 2. But that looks like that mantle has been taken away after they lost to Georgia. It looks like Georgia's been a top dog, and it's going to be Ohio State and Georgia probably taking that mantle. Then you have Oklahoma, which I kind of like Oklahoma.
Let me down, right? They could have won out, Adam, but they let us down. God damn you, Dylan, but it's fine. Go ahead.
It's all right, man. It's all right. You know, you can't win them all. But, you know, Oklahoma's going to be in there. You know, you got number 10, Ole Miss, doing well. Penn State, another big team coming up. Real test for, like I said, Michigan. They have a big game. Missouri, good to see them, but I don't think you're gonna see Michigan. I don't think you're really gonna see Missouri, Louisville, or LSU like really finishing in the top area. Although I do love Jaden Daniels. I do love what he's doing. I think again, if you are looking for a second-round quarterback, late first, Jaden Daniels could be your man. He is in the Heisman Trophy voting. Then we've got my team. Now, they probably should be higher on this ranks, but Notre Dame did it to themselves in a couple of these games. You know, the big game comes to mind against Ohio State, where you can't punch it into the 1-yard line, and it really cost you that game. And I'm not saying they would have been won, but they probably would be higher in the rankings right now than they are. It's unfortunate. Sam Hartman's playing pretty well. They're doing pretty well themselves. So, and you know what's funny is a lot of these teams that you're seeing here have a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be eligible for the draft. The next guy, DJ Ujuledi from Oklahoma State, I don't think I pronounced it right, but he's another guy I like to look at, 6'2", 250 pounds, really doing well, leading that Oregon Beavers team. I mean, again, when you're looking at these top 25 teams, these are going to be in the hunt for the playoffs. But again, I don't see many of these bottom tier teams really upsetting any of the top teams, anyways. But again, that's why they play the games. And we'll keep rolling. Tennessee, I like Joe Milton as a late round guy, 6'5", 250 pounds, can run, can throw, can do everything. He's my sleeper, like an Anthony Richardson type of guy. If you're looking for something like that, who's that? Is that the University of? I can't see that last. Who was that one? 18.
18. There's gonna be Utah Utes.
Utah, they're playing well.
Utah
They don't have
Utes.
their quarterback Cameron Rising, but I don't know if he's coming back this year, but it will be good. It's good to see that they're playing hard. UCLA, I always love. We're glad to see they're back in the top 19. Now here's one that's odd to see, but good to see nonetheless. USC being number 20, coming in. I think a lot of people had them ranked higher. A couple of losses, especially to Utah, probably hurt their ranking chances.
Most have.
Like Notre Dame, fine. That people probably wouldn't care so much, but the fact that they lost to Utah back-to-back games really hurt them. I like that Louisville. Kentucky, or excuse me, Kansas is in there. That's a team we really don't see. Oklahoma State University, pretty good. Kansas State, always good to see. Is that Tulane that I see there?
That is Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane's pretty good. And they have Michael Pratt as their quarterback. Not a guy I'm really interested in, but interesting candidate nonetheless. And Air Force was one of the top defenses in the league, in the entire nation, coming in at number 25. This is a team that I do not want to play later on down the year because they're that good of a team. Air Force, you don't think of high-flying, high-powered offense or ranking this high, but they are a good team. Their defense is flying around. And they're one team that I would not want to be if I'm, like let's say you're Georgia, right? You happen to play them on the schedule. I don't know your schedule. I'm just example, right? And you think, oh, well, they're a good team, but, we're Georgia Bulldogs. We should win. That's not going to happen with Air Force, okay? They can do it in many different ways. They're playing great football right now, and it's good to see that they're on the top 25 as well. This rankings could change as we go through. Obviously, it's October 31st. And these rankings do change. I think there's 4 weeks left in the season, something like that.
Absolutely. And final 4 weeks, I believe, and this is the first week of the official rankings. Absolutely correct.
Right. So this could change this weekend, going forward. Right. Michigan loses to Penn State. A lot of guys. I know there's a couple other big games out there as well that these teams drop, and next thing you know, we could be talking about a different ranking system next week. So it should be fun. It'll be a lot of fun, especially for at least the top 10, top 15. You're really going to see probably some changes there. I can't see Alabama staying just at 8. That's just not what Saban does. I could see them ending up in the top 5, top 4 when it's all said and done, when the dust settles. Where that will put them in the playoffs or what number they will be, I don't know, but I just can't see the Alabama Crimson Tide, being number 8. But anyways, I've talked enough. College football, Zion, the floor is yours.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I wanted to see if Matt, if you wanted to touch on anything college football related, or are you surprised with any of these rankings, or are you pretty much comfortable with it? And should we move on to our next subject before we get into our main event?
Rankings look good. I'll keep it real, man. Look, at the end of the day, that was great stuff too, Adam, by the way.
Absolutely.
So let's keep it honestly. It's going to take pretty much big meltdowns from these top 4s for any of them to really get trounced out of the South. The top 4, it's going to take big time meltdowns. I think Michigan honestly could be in the most trouble. Like you said, tough matchup coming against Penn State this week. So still going to have Ohio State. Right there, playing Ohio State. Ohio State usually the finale game for Michigan of the year, the rivalry game. So they may honestly be in the most trouble, I think. And I think Washington, like a team like Washington or Oregon, maybe even Texas, I don't think honestly beyond there. I don't think as much as we always think about Alabama, I think right now they're in a tough spot to actually be able to battle their way back up to that top 4. I think they're in a pretty tough spot. I think my most realistic one thing can honestly realistically bounce up into that top 4 is pretty much 5, 6, and 17 right there. Washington, Oregon, Texas. There's opportunities, I think, for those top 20 for those 3 teams. Seeing how things finish up now the rest of the season finishes up. It's good to see Florida State back up there at the top. Keep going up. Florida State with the powerhouse. in the 80s and the late in the 80s and 90s. And it's
Hmm.
good to see them back in the popular sphere in the college football world. They haven't really been. It's just
Yeah, they used to be one of the top teams in the draft, right? Florida State used to have a lot of guys from the first round.
haven't been one of the. They haven't been really consistently great teams since the Bobby Bowden era. There's no Bobby Bowden days.
Bobby Bowden, my God.
Great former Florida State coach, man, back in the day. So it's definitely good to see a team like that. But I do believe Michigan, honestly, in that top could be in the most trouble to maybe fall out of it, and one of these other teams like Washington, Oregon, or Texas could potentially swoop up in there. It's nice to see the rankings laid out like that and everything. But let's be realistic. Most of these teams have absolutely no chance at all. That top one. That's just the way what system is set up. It's just not going to really. It's not going to happen. It will take monumental meltdowns for a lot of teams. For like, for instance, UCLA down there at
Oh
19.
Yo,
To get up into the on the top line. A lot would have to happen.
your
Not-
mic, your mic is kind of interrupting right now. It has like some kind of like Ultron echo to it. I'm gonna have you try to unplug it if you can, and try to plug it back in. Something to do with your mic, but once you fix that connectivity issues, we'll definitely get back to that. Find out what you were saying.
But I do want to say one thing.
Go right
Mac
ahead.
is right. Mac is right. These top
Absolutely.
four teams are like when I was growing up, right? The big time teams. Florida State had guys. I remember Peter Warwick back in the day. I don't know if people remember. You may not be. He's too young for him, but he was one of the most deadliest return men in the history of college football. You had Michigan, who had a ton of players back in the day when I grew up in Ann Arbor. You had, the Heisman pose, Desmond Howard coming from there. You had a lot of just you had Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback once at that place. You had Tyrone Wheatley, who was a big back at that time, Heisman Trophy winner, in the mid 90s. Georgia's just been Georgia. They, when I was growing up, they were always a good team, but they weren't like this nationally ranked. They was always good, back in the day, but now they've been a constant figure in the last few teams this year, winning it with Stetson Bennett last year. And now not missing a beat with their quarterback this year, who is also draft eligible. just letting you know. And now the Ohio State Buckeyes. When I grew up, Ohio State Buckeyes were a big deal. And for a long time they were the Alabamas of the world. They ruled. There was like 4 straight years when they went to the championship game, especially with Nick Saban as not Nick Saban, excuse me. Nick Saban. No, not Nick Saban. The Meyer kid, Urban Meyer. Excuse me. Urban Meyer was their coach, and they won some championships with them. So it's just good to see Florida. The other team that I would, Ohio State. The other team that I would want to see in the top 5 again is Florida Gators. Like when I grew up, those were a big team, and also Miami back in the day. So it's interesting to see like 1, 2, 3, 4 remind me of my childhood. 5 through 10 kind of are new. Oklahoma's always been good when I was a kid watching them, the Sooners. Bob Stoops was their coach. Oregon they weren't always great, but they were the ones with the cool helmets and the uniforms. And you're like, man, why are they all green? And then Texans, you had a lot of them. And then, it's good to see Tennessee, Peyton Manning from that alma mater. LSU being 14th kind of shocks me because, again, growing up as well, LSU was a big-time player in the national titles for a while. So it's kind of funny to see how these big teams are now kind of the balance of power is shifting, right? So it's good to see.
I absolutely love it. Let's check on Mac to see if he wanted to finish up what he wanted to say about the playoff rankings before we move on to our co-main event and then our main event.
I'm good, man. I pretty much said what I had to say.
Absolutely appreciate that, and thank you so much, Adam, for holding it down. And I will touch on this to end this segment. I think Alabama will try to find a way in, and if they beat Georgia in that SEC championship game, we might get Georgia 2 SEC teams with Georgia and Alabama, Florida State, and then the winner of Michigan versus Ohio State. The last game will get replaced. Alabama still has a chance to win out. Washington still has a chance to win out. But that being said, it's going to be tough. I don't think the playoffs deny a Pac-12 championship champion, being that how dominant the Pac-12 was this season, but we'll see where it goes. But I do think Ohio State and Michigan, between number 1 and number 3, only one team makes it. So I want to see who makes it out of number 1 and number 3. Let's move on to our final subject of the night. Well, not our final subject. Before we get on to our main event, and I pass the floor to Adam. We're gonna probably just take 10 minutes on this one, guys, because we got to make our picks as well. I labeled it as Giants talk, but if you guys want to talk, just talk about the NFL. I do have a segment I do want to get to first. You guys probably covered it on the NFC East Roundup, so make sure you guys go check them out on that episodes on Wednesday nights on both channels, Mac the Giants fan and Adam's channel. But right now, why is my cam still off? Right now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the NFL. So let's get it. All right, I put Giants talk, but this is the NFL trade deadline thoughts. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts real fast. You guys can take a minute of your guys' time to touch on the NFL, the Giants, and then touch on the NFL for the rest of your 5 minutes, whatever you guys want to do. But I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes each to share your thoughts on the trade deadline and anything you guys want to say about the Giants and the NFL. Don't worry if you guys go over the 5 minutes. Who cares? But just kind of keep it within the 5 minutes. Let's get it. I'll give my thoughts after you guys, and then we can get into our main event of the night. Go right ahead, whoever wants to begin.
Mac.
Well, NFL, man. NFL trade deadline this past week. Moves got made. Looking at trade by watching some of the things Washington did. That's stuff there's something like they're showing. They get that thing, get their right their shit. Trying to put both of their premier pass rushers. Trade big moves like that. It's not really probably arguably the two best guys on that dominant defense. So, I mean, they're looking like a team that's definitely ready to just, rebuild it from the bottom up, man. And, see how that works out for them. I think interested in Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs trading big time. Minnesota's kind of getting a little bit hot over the course of the last few weeks. They have a chance. They still have a chance to make some moves this season. Make some noise this season, and I think they're trying to do what they have to try to sustain up there in the NFC North. And I think that the packages that Josh Dobbs is definitely going to an Addison receiver, like a superstar. So, Justin Jefferson is going to be out for some time, but they definitely have a good set of receivers over there in Minnesota. Dobbs, you'll see, I guarantee he's going to be now part of a slightly better football team. So you'll get an opportunity to probably see some of the flashes that he was showing in Tennessee. And definitely a good move for them. And the New York Giants is trading Leo Williams. And people just on Twitter in particular trying to make a big deal with Leo's comments on what he's taking the jab at the Giants. Just, he's not keeping it real. To be honest, he has never been part of a good football team, ever. I mean, he's played 2 playoff games his entire career. That just happened to be last year. So, I mean, what he said that it feels good to be part of a good winning team, that's just being honest. Giants haven't been a winning team. The Jets were not a winning team while he played for the Jets. So he's been on some bad football teams. He's not taking a jab. He's just answering the question that was asked. People too damn sensitive. Take everything to heart too much. Like, he's just the Giants, just the Jets. Leo Williams, congratulations. I just want to say it'll be great to get some good things for the Giants over the course of the last few years. Giants want the ball line to be able to sign that back anyway. And they're going to do all second and the 5th round pick. That's nice. Draft capital. Like to see Giants make some more moves. But of course, that's a big thing they did. Leo Williams, definitely like to see him shop with Dory Jackson around a little bit, maybe even the same kid at this point. It does seem to be more and more just running each and every day. Every time he talks, it's just like, I don't know where his head's really at. I mean, commitment is hard to be committed to a loser. I get it. It's hard. It takes a lot to be committed to a position, but at the end of the day, you got the professionals. That's what they get paid to come out there and do. You got to go out there and do the job regardless. So I'll see. We'll see, man. But as far as the state of the New York Giants, look, everybody, Daniel Jones. I don't know why so many people are acting like Daniel Jones is some kind of miracle worker. And,
Yeah, I know, Mets.
and all of a sudden, he's going to come in there and that's it. Their Giants season is going to be take off now. Giants are turning the whole season around. Because Daniel Jones is back. It's like if you didn't even watch the first 5 games of the season.
I don't really know what's going on with your mic right now, but it's coming in and out. I got what we got what you said. There is some moments where it did dip down, but my bad, bro.
I'm on the phone with my computers. Still, and my computer is still missing in action right now. So, it's the phone thing. So just talk this. Go ahead.
Well, my thing, I'll start with the Giants first and then get into some other things.
Go fast, Adam. Try leave and come back, Max. See if that solves the issue. That might do it right there. Go right ahead, Adam. I apologize for that.
So the second round pick is good, but we did have to pay for that second round pick. We had to absorb $9 million of that Leonard Williams contract. So essentially, we're paying for a pick. So I'm happy about it. I think he should have traded more guys. I think they held out too long. They thought they were going to beat the Jets, so they wanted to keep people around. That's not really how you do business, but that's how the Giants do business. They always seem to wait, and I think they're going to try to wait and get a couple comp picks for some of these guys that walk away, and then maybe use some of those comp picks in a trade-up. I think the second round pick gives them ammunition to move up to get a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. I know Brandon Jacobs said, they're sticking with Daniel Jones. That would be malpractice in my eyes. If you do that and you don't bring anybody in here because he's already had a neck injury, we don't know if he'll finish the year. And like Max said, Daniel Jones is not some savior. We're not going on a playoff run. We're 2-6. There's a 4% chance of us making the playoffs. Do you realize the Giants have to win freaking 8 games or something like that, or 7 games in a row out of the next 9 that we have in order to even sniff the playoffs? Give me a break. They're not going to. You have at least 3 of those games against the Eagles and the Cowboys, not to mention a game against the Saints. And you already have 6 losses. So right there, at best, I see the Giants getting 7 wins. I don't think they're going to get to 7 wins. I have a feeling they're going to get to 5 or 6, but I don't think 7 is the thing. Heck, I don't even think they're going to probably beat this Raider team that is in dismantled. Remember, the Raiders just fired their coach. They're starting a rookie quarterback. All signs point to the Giants being an easy cakewalk. These are the kind of games that make me pause a minute because, guys like Max Crosby and the Raider Nation, they're going to play with their hair on fire. They got nothing to lose, right? And you can already hear it and feel it in their guys' voices. The Giants I don't think the Giants even have Darren Waller. I don't know if he's been declared out, but I know that he has a hamstring injury, and he said multiple weeks. I'm going to look this up for you. I don't know what his status was. Do you guys know what his status is by chance?
Yeah, Waller's out.
Okay, so Darren Waller. Oh, there it is. Darren Waller is actually out of the game. And so Corbin, I don't even know how Corbin has a hamstring. I don't know how you get signed to the roster, have a hamstring. We got Randy Fat Bullock as our kicker. Great job by him. Tyrod Taylor's out. Darren Waller's out. Corbin has a hamstring. Andrew Thomas has a hamstring. He's probably not playing. Evan Neal has an ankle. He might be there. Kayvon Thibodeau has now came up with a back injury. Apparently, Corbin, Thomas, and Neal are officially questionable for the game. Thibodeau is expected to play. Daniel Jones, obviously, Barkley is back. So we'll see. I think don't take this Raider team lightly, people. They are capable of beating you. And sometimes when you have an event like this with the Raiders and you fire your coach, it galvanizes you. Best believe Antonio Pierce is going to have these boys revved the F up. Excuse me, rev the fuck up. We're all grown in here. Rev the fuck up. If there's one thing, and I read about it, Mark Davis said, do one thing: motivate the men. Let everybody else do their jobs, the coordinators and such. You go out there and motivate the team. This team is going to come out, I believe, may not win the game, but they're going to be a lot harder to deal with. That's just what I believe. And then lastly, the NFL with the trade deadlines, and you look over and you look at the Commanders and what they're doing and what they did. Interesting that they got the picks. I don't know what the hell Chicago's doing. I don't know what the hell Chicago's doing. What the hell are you trading a pick for? I mean, I know you like Montez Sweat, and I get it, but this GM seems to be thinking the wrong way. You're a 2-6 football team. You're not good. You're like the Giants. You're not good. Your probability of making the playoff is pretty slim, especially when you have at least 4 teams: the Saints, the Minnesota Vikings. We'll get to them in a second. Moving the football. So I don't know what they were doing. Let's get to Minnesota. Minnesota brings in Joshua Dobbs. My God, Joshua Dobbs has been passed around worse than a cigar in a cipher. I mean, my goodness. First it goes from, Pittsburgh, then he goes to Tennessee, then Tennessee to Cleveland, then from Cleveland to Arizona, now to Minnesota. I think he'll be starting by halftime because unless Jaron Hall's lighting it up, I think the Minnesota Vikings got him because they're not tanking the season. They're trying to climb back into the playoff race. The 7th seed is open. Go get that spot. And also, let's talk about another benching that happened. Desmond Ridder has been benched for Tyler Heineke. Another play for a team desperate to make the playoffs. Tyler Heineke does give them a chance to win games. Will he be the guy that gets them there? I don't know. You may not need that many wins in the South to get in to be the division winner. I'm not even worried about that. One of those teams in the South is going to make it. I think it's a battle for one spot between the Saints, the Falcons, Minnesota, and I think like possibly the Rams or something like that. I do not think the Giants or any of these other teams that are 2-10, especially since the Giants only score 10 points a game. Daniel Jones was part of that 10 points a game. What's going to happen? Last thing about this, and then we can move on. Daniel Jones is going to look good. Everyone's going to, blow him and start blowing sunshine off his ass against the Raiders, then he's going to get crushed against the Cowboys. And we're back to square one. It's time to move on, people.
I absolutely love it. Matt, thank you so much for joining back up and fixing out audio issues and great takes on that, Adam. I'm going to turn the mic back over to Matt to let him finish his thoughts on any other trade deadlines that you want to touch on.
Oh no, I think it's a great move, San Francisco. I did want to touch a little bit on that. San Fran, losing 3 games in a row. Then they go out there and make this move to bolster what was already still a pretty damn good defense, even though it's had a few rough weeks. Chase Young on there, obviously Nick Bosa. I know Nick Bosa's dealing with something right now a little bit too, but at the end of the day, that's a dynamic pass rushing team right there. Nick Bosa and Chase Young. That's going to be scary for more years to come. The rich get richer in this league. So just a good move by the San Francisco 49ers trying to, still keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Cowboys, big game coming up this week. This game has so many implications, man. So important. I mean, more important so for the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like, but at the end of the day, pretty important for the Eagles too. Big time matchup. Look forward to just sinking my teeth into this game, man. It's going to be so fun. I think whoever wins this game will be number 1 in the power rankings next week. Whoever wins this game will be the number 1 team for sure, because these are arguably right now the 2 best teams in football. Eagles, Cowboys. Doesn't get any better than that. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it right now, but just enjoy, everybody.
I absolutely love it. Let's get it. Adam, any final thoughts before we move on and before I pass the floor to you?
Sam Howell's that guy. I'm just saying.
Sam Howell is that guy. Alrighty, when we come back, guys, the floor is going to be Adam's, and we are going to be talking about the NFL picks. So that being said, we'll catch you guys in a bit. Alrighty. Oh, dang it. Sorry, guys. That being said, Adam, the floor is yours. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please sit back, relax, recline your chairs as we are going to take you to destination fun right now. So, I have taken the liberty of going ahead and opening 2 tabs with the NFL season on them, one for week 8 and one for week 9. We will go quickly through the week 9 games. Oh, but before we do that, let's see who has won the week. Let's see. Thankfully, I had time to get the tally before we started, and we will start with the caboose first. Matt, unfortunately, this week you are the caboose with 7 wins. Some of them hurt you down. Some of the middle of the road teams hurt you in the middle of your pickings, and that's kind of what led you to your demise. Second place is none other than no, that's not me. It'll be Zion Zenith at
Again, I
10
got second
wins.
place again.
He's number 2, and yours truly, the man, the myth, the legend, Adam Costas himself, and your new rankings champion of the week with 13 W's. That's me. That's me. That's the Fly MC AC with 13. Lucky 13. So let's get into it.
Wait, you have 13 games, White?
Yes, because I'm
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Well, you'll find you're about to eat that bullshit right now. Go. Okay. Where we
Wow. Hey, congrats, bro.
listen. I mean, look. You may not think it's true, and you may want to recount, but we're not in the state of Florida, so I'm not going to give that to you. Oh, let's play on words. But the first game, week number 8. Let's go back and revisit them real quick. Texans, Panthers. Mac had the Texans. Zion had the Panthers. W there. And then you've got yourself over here with me with the Texans. Man, Texans let me down. Good for the Panthers getting their first win at home. Good job, Bryce Young. Now, game 2, Rams, Cowboys. I do believe this was unanimous. Cowboys. And Cowboys. We all picked the Cowboys. Next game, Minnesota Vikings versus the Packers. Unfortunately, Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles in this game. I picked the Vikings. Zion picked the Packers. Wow, terrible. And Mac picked the Vikings. There we go. Mac is on there. Saints. Mac picked the Saints. Zion picked the Colts. And I, of course, picked the Saints because I have 13 wins here, people. The next one is Pat Dolphins. I told you last week as an idiot I would pick the Pats. Well, I was an idiot because they lost. So Pats lost. Zion and Mac both picked the Dolphins. Let me just check to make sure my notes are correct. They are. And that leads us to Giants and Jets. And my God, me and Mac were at that game. Worst offensive game I've ever seen in my life. There was no offense, but Mac picked the Giants. Zion picked the Giants. Adam picked the Jets. And the Jets won. Big W there. Not proud of it, but they somehow the Giants can steal defeat out of the jaws of victory. My God, I don't know how that works, but they did. And then it goes Jaguars, Steelers. Guess what? I picked the Jags. Zion picked the Jags, and Mac unfortunately picked the Steelers. Sorry to hear that, Mac. But the Falcons, Titans, I think we all picked Atlanta here. Let me just double check. ATL, and ATL. So we are all idiots on that one. Eagles, Commanders. I picked the Eagles again. Zion picked the Eagles again. And somebody picked the Commanders. Oh, that's Mac. Oof, sorry, Mac.
Oh, man.
Choice. Nice going, though. They kept it close. The Commanders kept it close. Browns, Seahawks. Mac picked the Browns again. Zion picked the Seahawks, and yours truly also picked the Seahawks. See how I got the 13? Because I got another W on the way. Ravens. I picked the Ravens. Another W. Let's see. What did Zion do? Zion had
picked the Cardinals.
Zion did not. He picked the Ravens as well. And all picked the Ravens. Kansas City Broncos. This is where our brackets all get busted because except for Zion, Mac picked KC. Zion was the lucky one. He picked Denver. Somehow, even a needle.
I picked Denver and Cardinals, both of them.
Needle in a haystack can sometimes be found. Zion found it with Denver winning this week, and of course, I picked KC. Now, I just want to tap myself on the back right here because I stuck with my second favorite team. I went on a limb, and I went with the Cincinnati Bengals with the W. With the W. These other two guys picked, let's see what Zion picked. San Francisco, L. Mac, San Francisco, L. There we go, right? And now, Chargers, Bears. Everyone picked the Chargers. Everyone picked the Chargers. Yes, we all did. And then
Mhm.
last game of the year was Raiders. The hell's happening? Is someone's phone ringing? Hello? Okay. And last but not least, Lions,
Do I
Raiders.
hate the damn phone? I'm sorry.
Honestly, Lions won the game in a hearty fashion. Way to go, Zion, with your phone. Keep Hollywood to Hollywood, please. I mean, my God. Last week he answered the phone on the stream. This week he's
That was my phone. That was my phone. Let's go. Continue.
another phone call on the stream. But now, ladies and gentlemen, your picks for week number 9 in the NFL. This is going to be, as the kids would say.
How did you get 13 wins right when there's 16 games and you got 5 games wrong?
Listen, I won. That's all that matters.
Your math is off, Judge, but let's get it. You won the week, but let's go. Continue.
I know what you're talking about.
Continue.
You know what? Bite me.
I love it. Let's go.
This is why you're not. Is this your segment or is
No, I'm
this
sorry.
my segment?
I'm sorry to interrupt your segment.
You lost fair and square. If you want to recount,
No, I don't want to recount. Let's move on.
exactly.
Let's move
We don't have time
on.
for a recount.
No
Too
recount.
late. Too
I accept it.
damn
I accept
late.
it because I'm gonna win this week.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna win this week.
You know what? Yeah, you know what?
I'm gonna finally get my championship
why
that
you're
has
gonna win
long
this
been
week?
deserved.
You're going to win this week due to a clerical error on my part. That's what you're going to do. I'm going to type in the wrong number. But, ladies and gentlemen, this week we've got games at 9 a.m. So wake up and have your bacon, your eggs, your coffee, your toast, whatever it is, and get up on the couch, put your feet up, and enjoy probably the game of the week. Dolphins, Chiefs are in Germany, Frankfurt, Germany. Mac, as we always do, we'll start you off in this segment. Who do you got, Dolphins or the Chiefs?
Got the Chiefs
Casey.
coming off an L. Dolphins haven't. They just don't seem to beat anybody with a winning record. So the Chiefs.
Zion.
I'm gonna say the Dolphins.
Dolphins. I am going to go, and I hate to say this because I think the Dolphins don't deserve it, but I think Kansas City is gonna put the whooping on the Dolphins after losing to the Broncos because I think they were preparing for this game. That's why I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs. They got caught in a trap game last week. I don't think they get caught in the trap this week. So let's effing go. Okay, let's do this. And let me get rid of this one so I don't go backtrack and get recounted on. Now, 1 o'clock games. A battle of 4-4 teams. The Minnesota Vikings against the Atlanta Falcons. Zion, I went with Mac first, so I'll go with you first right now. Who do you have?
Yeah, I know it's early on. I mean, like it's halfway through the season, but Atlanta's playoff bound, man. Give me the Falcons. I like what Arthur Smith is doing. Absolutely love the benching of him. Let the kid sit, let the kid learn, and let's take Atlanta to see the playoffs. Let's get it, Atlanta.
Mac?
Don't believe the hype. I like what Minnesota's been doing the last few weeks, and I'm going with the Vikings.
Well, if Joshua Dobbs was starting, I would go with the Vikes, but being that he is not, I am going to go with Atlanta with Tyler Heineke pulling the upset in the Mercedes Dome. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, excuse me, Arthur Black or whatever your name is. Now, next game on the docket.
With this Smith.
Seahawks, Ravens. This is a game I like. Oh, man, I am excited. I will start. I'm going to go on a limb and say the Seahawks win this game. I don't know why, but I felt their old jerseys last week. I hope they keep them.
Chad.
They were dope. They need to keep those jerseys going. I have the Seahawks. Who do you got, Mac?
I got Seattle also.
You got the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm gonna go on a boat On my island, I'm gonna say Baltimore at home. Like, how can you go? How can you go against them? Baltimore at home, easy. Thank you guys both for taking the Seahawks. I'm taking Baltimore at home. Let's
Listen,
get it.
we like to have fun with our picks. You just want to be boring and
Hey,
pick
Carolina, I got laughed at. They won. Denver, I got laughed at. They won. That's
This
all I'm
team is
gonna
6-2. The Carolina Panthers
I'm gonna
1-5.
say. I had fun. I had fun the last 3 weeks. I'm trying to win this
Mr.
week.
Out on a limb. How about this game? 1-7 Cardinals against the 4-3 Browns. If you're so bold, why don't
Give
you
me,
pick that
give me
team?
the Cardinals.
Oh, you're gonna take them?
I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
My Lord.
The defense is absolutely amazing, but
With
the
no Josh
Cardinals-
Dobbs, the Cards. My God. Well, I thought you were crazy when I met you, and now you really are showing me crazy. Are you insane right now? Are you insane right now? I gave you the
Let's get
Cards.
it.
Mac, what about you?
Seriously, Cleveland, man. Cleveland, definitely.
You're not as bold as Zion.
Not really.
Well, listen, I'm not as bold as Zion, but I have hair in my chest. I'm going with the Browns. But it has nothing to do with the fact. It has everything to do with the fact that the Cardinals. I don't even know who their starting quarterback is at this moment. So why would I even pick them? They don't even know who's on their team. Isn't the milkman starting? Hello, can you do? I can't deliver your milk today because I'm playing starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, next game on the docket: Rams, Packers. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going with the Rams. Rams have a bounce back game after 2 big losses. I think they beat the Packers. Zion, who are you picking?
I agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Wow, you agree with me? Oh,
Absolutely.
Jolly Willikers. Mac, how do you pick?
I'm definitely in agreement with both of you as well. Like the Rams in this one bounce back as well.
Bounce back as well. I need to put your name in bold there, Zion, because it's throwing me off right now. There we go. And you said I'm really hoping the Rams can pull it out. Don't let me down, Rams.
Absolutely.
Next game, still the 1 o'clock hour. Buccaneers 3-4 headed down to Houston. Zion, I'll take you first. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers, man. They had some struggling games recently, and so did Houston. I know Houston's at home, but I think the Buccaneers have the better weapons, so I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers.
Mac?
Houston has kind of let me down the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to still stick with him, man. I think C.J. Stroud has a bounce back performance, man. Probably had one of his lesser performances a week ago against Carolina, and I think he bounces back and shows why he's a definite strong Rookie of the Year candidate.
And I love C.J. Stroud. You know what I said? I wanted the Giants to get him last year. They scouted him all up and down the draft process. They went to Ohio State's pro day the year prior in 2022. Guess who's throwing the passes to him? C.J. Stroud. Guess who was talking to C.J. Stroud? It was Joe Shane. Oh yes, our Joe Shane. But with that being said, I'm going to pick the Bucs. I think Baker Mayfield and the Bucs get it together and they steal a win from the Texans, who it was nice that they flirted with some wins, but I think that they hit another losing streak. And then we have the Commanders against the Patriots. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go on a limb and say Sam Howell takes the Commanders to win number 4. He has been playing well. Let me throw a little nugget at you. A little chicken McNugget. Go to McDonald's, go get your chicken McNugget on. They're not sponsoring us, but maybe they should because we are hot right now. Sam Howell has thrown for that's right, wait for it, over 650 yards passing against the Philadelphia Eagles the last 2 times he's done it. Okay, this man is doing well. He had 397 yards last week against one of the best teams in football. And by the way, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. So yes, I'm going to go with Sam Howell-led Commanders. By the way, he is that guy, people. He's on pace for 4,200 yards and 28 touchdowns. If he does that, Commanders won't be picking a quarterback come April. You got my word on that one. But so I'm picking the Commanders. Zion?
I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna go ride with Bill Belichick at home at Gillette. I'm alright with the Patriots here.
Going
It
with
just looks like the they're selling off pieces on defense. And yes, I do believe in your take that Sam Howell will probably score. I just think the defense, the Patriots will score as well. And when it comes down to it, Bill Belichick's defense will find a way to win the game. So I'm gonna go right with the Patriots, the home team.
Mac?
Going with the Patriots here. Washington is too up and down, too Jekyll and Hyde for me. They played a really good game, even in a losing effort a week ago. I just don't see them putting together another good game back-to-back weeks. They just haven't demonstrated that ability in this season. I think the Patriots win this one.
And, well, glad that you guys both picked the Patriots. We'll see what happens. Sam, don't let me down, Sammy. Now, next game, Bears, Saints. Who do you have, Mac?
The Saints.
Going with the Saints. Going with the Saints. All Saints Day just happened recently. So that's something to think about. Zion?
I'm gonna ride with the Saints as well.
Saints. And everybody, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go with the Saints. They had a big win last week to bounce back. I think they're going to keep the train rolling down the tracks and keeping their playoff hopes alive, especially since we all believe Atlanta's going to win. So you're going to want to keep that train going and that momentum going. Next game, we finally hit the 4 o'clock hour. There are some big games coming in the 4 o'clock hour. This one will not be one of them. Colts, Panthers. Who do you have, Zion?
Yeah, so the Colts will probably win this game. I just have them winning this game. I picked the Panthers last week because I just randomly just wanted to pick them. I think they was gonna get it together after a bye week, but I know the Colts is not as good as these other teams, but I just feel like they're better than the Panthers. So that being said, I'm gonna pick the Colts.
Well, I am going to go out on a limb and do what you did last week and pick the Panthers. Mac?
I'm taking the Colts. The Panthers won their one game for the season.
Panthers won their one game for the year. Colts in disarray, playing for their playoff lives in the South. Next game is actually going to be hindering me from watching the game of the week in my eyes, and that's the Giants Raiders. I have to watch two booty ass teams play against each other. Mac, who do you got?
Oh my God! Begrudgingly, I taking the Giants here. I think the level the defense has been playing, winning football for the last 3 games straight. I think this Raiders offense is an offense that defense can handle. As long as they play at the level they've been playing in the last few weeks, I think the defense makes a difference in this football game against a young quarterback the Raiders are putting out there, Aiden O'Connell. So I'm going.
Oh, can we just congratulate the Raiders organization for firing Josh McDaniels? Like, can we just take a moment and give them a hand?
I'm sure you're happy.
Like, that was brilliant, right? Like, you have a loss and you can't win a game. Jesus. Well, that being said, I'm taking the Giants. Is Antonio Pierce the head coach?
Yes.
Shout out to Antonio Pierce. It's going to be a tough game. He used to play for us. You know what I'm saying? He won a Super Bowl with us. So that being said, like, it's going to be a tough game, defensive game. But I'm going to have the Giants edge in the victory. So give me the Giants.
Well, unfortunately, this is where we differ. I'm going with the Raiders. Why? Because Daniel Jones is our starting quarterback, and their defense has Max Crosby on it, and our offensive line is not even set yet. And if Tyree Phillips is out there going up against Max Crosby, Daniel Jones, I hope you have insurance on that neck because he's going to be coming for your ass. Okay? So, with that being said, I think the Raiders play with their hair on fire. I think Antonio Pierce is going to give them the speech of a lifetime. He's going to go down there and he's going to say, "This is my ex-team. We want to walk around with swagger. Go get me a win." The albatross is out of the building. The energy is flowing. Max Crosby's got the crowd already set. He said, "Bring it because we coming on Sunday." And I can't help but be excited for Antonio Pierce, and I can feel his energy scorching through his press conference. I'm going with the Raiders. Now, that brings me, or us, I should say, that brings the ship to the game in my eyes. Well, one of the games of the week, but the game that I definitely will be focused on the most, Cowboys and Eagles. Mac, hit it.
Dallas Cowboys, man. Dallas Cowboys pass rush defense wrecks the game, I believe, and I think they come through and they finally win a big one. And I think they handle the Eagles on Sunday.
Wow. He is taking the Dallas Cowboys because of his hatred for the Eagles, folks. Zion, go.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are gonna be the snakes this season. Honestly, they're gonna find their way to win these games, and like they're gonna finish with like it's lucky like they're gonna finish with less than 2 wins. I mean, sorry, less than 2 losses, and I have them beating Dallas here at home. I just think they're sneaking their way out of all these games, and they're gonna do it again. Like Dallas is gonna play great defense for 55 minutes, and then the Eagles are gonna sneak it away, and that's what I feel. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
The Eagles, the Eagles, the Eagles. Well, if any Eagle fans are out there and they're listening, you're going to be singing that flight song, "Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory." I
Check out
just
their schedule too, Adam. I'm sorry to interrupt that amazing song or puke to that song, but after the Cowboys, they got the Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys again.
right. So this is a big game for the Cowboys, right? But the Cowboys don't necessarily need to win this game to have the game against the Eagles in December 10th go their way. Look at the Cowboys schedule. They play the Giants, the Panthers, and the Commanders all in the next 3 weeks after this Eagle game. So if they decide they decide to lay an egg, guess what? They have some games to catch up. But I think the Cowboys, at worst, I'm picking them to lose this game, but at worst, they need to come out and show why they should be the number one team, and then they can make up those wins because I don't think the Eagles are going to sweep all Buffalo, Kansas City, and the 49ers. I think that's a daunting task. That's a daunting task for anyone to do, and I think they're going to have probably at least 3 to 4 losses. So I think those come right now, and not to mention you're playing the Seahawks as well. So you're gonna have some games there to lose. Now the last 2 games on the schedule, we finally made it down to the bottom. I know it's been a long marathon journey. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm steering this train back into the garage. Next game, Sunday Night Football in Cincinnati, Ohio. Bengals, Bills. I'm going to go with my team. Joe Cool, Joe Burrow, second team. I'm going with the Bengals, baby. And if they don't have me, I want to be their resident fan going forward. I love the Giants, but as long as Daniel's on the team, I'm going to be looking at it. And I've already taken up applications for the Bengals. So Bengal fans, move over because you're getting a new fan watching the game soon.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna go at the Bengals too. I'm not gonna join you as being a fan. I just think they're gonna win the game. And I love what they're doing. So give me the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Where's the game at?
The game is in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Still taking the Bills. The Bengals went up there, embarrassed them in the playoffs last year.
Ooh.
I think the Bills try to come back, exact some revenge.
Mac is taking the Bills. Mike is taking the Bills. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our picks of the.
What about the game of the week, bro? Los Angeles versus Jets.
Sorry,
it's major.
I was sleeping on the Jets. Sorry, Monday Night Football. Oh, by the way, teams that are on a bye: Jaguars, 49ers, Lions, Broncos. Let's see. Just wanted to see. Oh wow, Jaguars play San Francisco next, coming back out the break. Woo. That should be a good one. Jets, Chargers, interesting matchup in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Mac, who do you got and why?
Got the Chargers because they're better and they can score points.
Ooh, that's good. Why?
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert is gonna show Adam you want to be a Joe Burrow fan. What about me? So Adam is cheating on Justin Herbert with Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow is gonna go out there and ball. I mean, Adam, Justin. You get the point. Herbert's going to go out there and ball. Go ahead, Adam.
Herbert is going to say, why, Adam? Why don't you take me back? And I'm going to be like, listen, Justin Herbert, you are still my guy because I am picking Justin Herbert to right the ship. I'm sorry, Jets. You eked by a victory against the inept New York Giants. I could have beaten the Giants on Sunday. I practically did beat the Giants on Sunday. At least I beat the Giants on my way home. That's for sure. Because they were there taking a long time down that turnpike. But you don't sneak a victory here. Please, Justin Herbert, don't make me regret my decision right now. If you lose to the New York Jets, which is a possibility, they're going to hate you. And you will lose your Subway endorsement deals forever. But I'm picking the Chargers. With that being said, everyone, that concludes our picks. Sorry, I missed the Jet fans. We don't have any Jet fans listening, anyways, so it's all good on that end. So that concludes our picks. Sorry, it's a little long this time. I try to keep it a little, spice it up for you guys, make it fun, not so boring and mundane. But hey, look, we're at the 129 mark. How is that?
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. We're gonna turn the mic over to Mac. He's gonna wrap us up for tonight, and then let's get it.
Thank you all for tuning in to another edition of the Premium Take Podcast. Myself, Zion Zenith, Adam Cautious, great job hosting the show, Zion. Really appreciate it, man. I want to apologize for my appearance this week. You know, right now, like I said, my computer's down and out. So hopefully I had that fixed, situated by tomorrow. And I did the best I could do on this phone. I do appreciate it, man. But everybody, y'all know what time it is, man. Throw them fours up for our guy, NYG Jeffy T, man. Throw them fours up, man. Most definitely. Always here with us, man. Always going to be here with us. No one's ever getting that spot, ever. No one's ever taking another seat at this table, man. It's always going to be reserved for NYG Jeffy T, the one and only, man. The late, great NYG Jeffy T, man. So, fours up, man. And this has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. We'll see y'all next Friday night. Pass.